All right. Yeah, we're live. This is the refactoring Bob, I guess. It's a Bob or book club, whatever you want to call it. We've been going through the who is it? Martin Fowler's refactoring book. And we've got through the introductory sections, and so the rest of the book is just like kind of a reference book. So it might be good to go through it eventually. But yeah, so for this session, we'll be doing some live refactoring of this method here, the build single marker. And last week, we thought a good starting point would be to use the extract method on this if-else end clause just to get that out of there. And so we extracted that into its own method. But yeah, I don't have those changes on my computer. And then I'm also thinking that we might not need to do the extract method just based on what this volops is, because it's taking volop.last. So that should only be like a single collection, right? And I was playing around with bybug to figure out what all of this does, and I think I got it figured out. So I'll walk through it. Just stop me if I get anything wrong that you see, or if you have questions. So this is called the build markers with info window. If you're not familiar with the Hero network, I got it up on here somewhere. Let's see. Here we go. Well, so the build markers, so basically that method gets called and it builds these markers to put on the Google map for the Hero community network website. You can click on it and it gives you the details. So yeah, so basically it builds these markers and figures out where to place them by the latitude and longitude. So coming back to this, so run gets called, and marker builder, which is gmaps, it's the name of the module, and then the class is markers builder. So markers builder class gets called, and the generate method is invoked. So if we take a look at that generate method, let's see, it's markers builder. There we go. So all this code was just copied from this, this right here. If we take a look at that. Yeah, that whole code was just cut and pasted from this file here on the Gmaps and Google Maps for Rails. Let's see, what is this? It's a gem. It's a gem. So I don't know why we didn't I don't know what the reason was. So maybe it doesn't seem to be updated that much, right? So it seems like we just cut some code that we needed. But anyway, So we get down here to markers builder. So we're saying this markers builder calls the generate method. All right. So the generate method. Where was this? Oh yeah, right here. Generate, and then that takes in a collection. It takes in that block. So the block that we're passing in is the, so we're passing in a volops collection. Passing in this block, which is this block here. And this is what we'll be refactoring to make this a little bit, I guess, Seth said, can't understand it, it's too long, let's refactor it. So sounds like a great idea. So that's what we'll be doing. So it passes in this function to generate method, and then it calls marker builder, markers builder dot new. So it's calling this class markers builder dot new. So it's initializing collection to an array, collection of an array, and then it's calling its call method again. So it's going to iterate through that collection, and it's going to map each object. And then it calls marker builder dot new. So here we come down here. Here's marker builder. It initializes that, and then it gets the call method on it. And then finally, the block runs. So here's the call on the block. It passes an object. An object is just one single volunteer opportunity, because we're iterating through the collection, and it's a collection of volunteer opportunities. So it gets passed one single volunteer opportunity, and then it passes in the it passes in this instance, that current instance of markers builder to the block. So it passes in the volunteer opportunity and an instance of markers builder. And markers builder has the it's got some attributes to it that we'll be adding to.
Sorry. Why do they create the marker builder inside the markers builder? It's like,
yeah, there's a lot of indirection going on. So there's a marker builder, and then there's markers builder. Why are they doing all this indirection? Again, this is just code that was cut and pasted into here. It works, right? So, I mean, the biggest thing is it works. It creates a marker, it puts it in the right place. Is all this necessary? I don't know. We could probably clean it up. So,
okay.
Yeah, because it's not inheriting from anything, right? So it's just a markers builder, but it is part of this module, Gmaps. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, a module is a module. It can be. I mean, there could be other stuff in here that it's doing. Let's take a look at this method, though. So we know when this method gets invoked down here. We know when this method gets invoked down here. It gets past one single volunteer. It gets past a volunteer opportunity, and then it gets past a marker, the marker object, the marker instance, which is believe this markers builder instance. So it seems like the marker has a attribute lat, it has a attribute LNG, info window, and it's got this method JSON that we call. So I don't see lat long info window in here, so I'm expecting that it's coming from somewhere else, from like this Gmaps. Yeah, right here, the two Gmaps for accepts a block to customize info window, picture, shadow, title, sidebar, JSON. Yeah, I'm not sure. So there's other stuff going on that's not all right here, unfortunately. That is, but yeah, so so we're adding the latitude, longitude info window, and then we're calling this marker.json, which is ran right here. It takes in what we pass to it and just merges it in with all these values, lat long info window. So let's see. Let's throw in a bybug and just see this in action. So we do. Earlier I put in a bybug there, and I put in one right here to better understand what is exactly the vol-up and why do we need vol-up.first, vol-up.last if we're just passing in a single volunteer opportunity. So let's see. So yes, and then so I get started. Yeah. It's my local host, run it. All right. So here's our build single marker. So let's see what the vol-up is. So vol-up is looks like an array collection. So yeah, vol-up dot count. There's two items in vol-up, and the first item is location details. The last item or second item is the actual volunteer opportunity. So here we see there's the volunteer op, and it gives us all the details of the volunteer op.
Shouldn't what's that? Name it differently.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we're refactoring it.
Yeah.
So that we can understand it better. So let's go to the next bybug. And here, I wanted to find out what this hash was. So hash. So when we actually call, when that block gets called, it actually it modifies the marker, and that marker modifies the hash. And so here we see where we were doing back to VS Code. Here we were seeing marker.lat. That's actually modifying that hash attribute. So this hash here gets modified to have a .lat. And so right there, .lat, .lng, there's the info window. And then when we call .json takes in those three attributes and merges it in with whatever hash we pass in with it. And the hash we pass in with it is we put in these like title. We got this locales, which has its own attributes. We got a partial, and we have a custom marker. And you can see that all here somewhere. let's see. Well, each hash is going to have a size of 6. So if we do hash, hold on. Oh, no, I can't do that. I want to print it out nicely. Puts. Oh man, it's been a long time since I wrote any Ruby code. Let's see what I want to do.
You want to?
I was just gonna like iterate through the hash and just print out each line on its own, but so I don't have to look for everything. So hash.each. That's it. Hash.each, and then just puts this pass in. All right, there we go. It did not work. Or did it? Oh yeah, it did. Okay.
For the hash epic, you have a key value pair.
That works. So here's our lat, and then there's the latitude, and then we got the next key long, and then there's the info window, which is all that stuff. And then here's the custom marker when we call the JSON method, the custom marker, and then the type, index, and then this is just the returning of whatever. So the type is a vol-op. All right. So yeah, so there's that custom marker. Yeah, the class vol-op type. Oh no, type. Yeah, index 1. So we saw the custom marker, we saw the index, and we saw the type as vol-op right there. So yeah, so that gets passed. So that hash is created, and then as you see here, it gets so each time the vol-op gets called, it runs through that block, creates a hash, it gets added, it maps it to that collection, so it returns an array. It goes back through here, and then that gets returned. So at the end, this right here returns all those hashes into an array, and then we just JSONize it and return it to the front end so that then it can populate the marker windows using that hash. So are you all kind of with me so far? Maybe.
Sorry?
Are you all kind of with me so far? Understanding sort of what's going on. So I mean, what we're going to concentrate on is just refactoring this. So last week we said, hey, let's get rid of this if else end. And I was kind of like, well, I don't think we need it because vol-op is just one volunteer op, and when we take a look at this, it's saying get source of vol-ops, but this assumes that vol-ops is like multiple volunteer opportunities. And so if we take a look, let me open up volunteer op. If we take a look at the method get source and volunteer ops. So volunteer ops, it just calls volunteer ops.first.source, assigns it to source, and then it's saying if all the volunteer ops have the same source, I mean if all the volunteer ops so if all the volunteer ops have a different source, then just return mixed. Otherwise, just return their source. We don't really need to call this because, I mean, vol-ops thought first, because we just have one single volunteer op, as far as I know. And this is always going to return true.
I mean, in Volop, it seems to be two different kind of records. The first one is kind of having some location attributes like the latitude and longitude.
Yeah.
And the last one in Volop is another kind of object.
Yeah, so what's being passed in
many
is,
kind of the on that of
what's
so,
being passed in is one single record. A location, it's got location attributes in the first part, and then it's got the actual volunteer opportunity in the second part.
Okay.
And here VolOps is still a collection, so they have to call first on it. But here we don't need a try source, because this try is actually for methods. It's used for like method calls, and source is not a method. It's an actual attribute of volunteer op, and there's always going to be a source, because if we take a look at the schema, why isn't schema popping up? The schema is under
DB.
Yeah, where's DB at? Okay, so if we take a look here at volunteer ops, we can see that the source, it's always going to have at least a string. It's always going to be true. It's either be local or some other assigned value. And if we were to take a look at how volunteer ops get created, it's either going to be do it, reach skills, or local. So yeah, try will always return something, a value. It will return nil. It'll never like return it will never raise an error. So you use try when you think you might raise an error. That's why I say you use it for method calls. Like maybe that method might not exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we use safe navigator instead of try?
I mean, yeah, we could, but I'm thinking we just don't need to use anything. We just go like that. We just say, hey, give us your source, because we know it's going to be an attribute of VolOps. Volunteer opportunities, all volunteer opportunities have a source. You just say, hey, what's your source? And this is always going to return true, so then this always gets ran. I mean, we don't.
But what we're testing here, so it's kind of like if we really do need that if statement.
Yeah, there are tests, so we can take it out, see if the tests pass. If they don't pass, then I'm going to ask why they don't pass. Maybe the test is wrong. Because as far as I'm concerned, this should be a private method, and it shouldn't be unit tested. And if it is unit tested, then that might be a problem within itself. Because nothing should be calling, nothing outside of this class should be calling build single marker. And I see there's a private right up there. So it looks like it is a private method. So that's good. So yeah, that shouldn't be under unit test. It should be under like a functional test. So I'm just curious. Let's see what will happen if we just take this out and see if the tests pass.
The initialize method is also in the private section.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Like that.
I'm not going to get into that right now. Yeah. Yeah, that looks kind of weird, right? So
Yeah. This is the local support code?
yeah, this is local support code.
Okay.
So I'm curious if this will pass or not. Let me get. Hey Stella, how's it going?
I'm good. Just following along. I'm actually cooking.
Okay. Yeah, Seth was just here. You came on and she left. So I don't know what's up with that. So let's run the tests. RSpec. We'll just run all of them. I don't think the RSpec tests take too long. When you were running tests last week, Stella, did you run the zero example?
Come again.
What's that?
I didn't get you. What did you ask about the test last week?
So when you were running tests last week, were you just running the RSpec tests?
Yeah, I ran the RSpec test alone.
Okay.
I didn't bother with the cucumber.
Yeah, that's smart.
Although we didn't break anything.
What's that?
We did not break anything.
Yeah, that's right. We did. Oh, that's good. All right, let's try to run these tests again. Yeah, this looks kind of weird. Volops.first.source, even though we're doing volop.last here. Then we're doing volops.first.source. It looks weird, but it's actually what is needed because volop.last returns a collection. So yeah, I'm hoping this works, but it may or may not work. See, we got 6 failures here in volunteer ops. Let's see. Show returns a success response. Oh man. What's going on here? Line is that? It's line 39. So get show, okay, it returns a success response. Event equals event.create. Interesting. Pure ops. Index forward. Okay, so we're getting some like controller failures on the actions embedded map. This is interesting. Okay, 119.
It's the same file, I think.
All right, so here it creates volunteer op, attributes, markers. Yeah, so it's saying it's not, it's saying there's some failures, which is kind of weird because when if I turn on the real server, I want to see if I can get these failures happening on the server. So it's saying the show request fails. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's when it's calling the view, it's getting a failure.
All right, I know what is the problem.
Okay.
We change it. We deleted the if source equal, and somewhere it is called in the partial. So we should get.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man. So I'm like, this worked earlier. I didn't run the test earlier though. I was just checking it. There we go. Okay, so let's try to run these tests again then, see what happens.
Green.
Go. Thanks for catching that, Sita. Oh, that's better. Only one failure.
Yeah.
That's so get show returns a success response. That's the one I was looking at. I mean, here we click on that. I mean, it just goes, what show are you talking about? That goes to a different website. So that was the, is it the same file? Falling? No, it's controller 39. So right here, so when we create an event, then it tries to get show, expect response to be success. So that would be like when we log into here and we create an event, it should take us to the show page of the event. I think what's the login password? There we go. So ASDF, oh, I don't have, I didn't run the seeds actually. I don't think. Try. Yeah. I don't have the server running either. I don't think this takes too long, but
The thing is, I'm not sure if we broke that test because we didn't run any tests.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure either.
maybe as we have just changed it one file, we can revert it and run the test, see if it passes or not.
Yeah, let's do that. So this is done. Check it out. While that's running, I'm going to log in. I don't have the server running. I'll just wait. Yep, all passing.
Great.
So yeah, so when I put that back, I'll do it this way. Back like that. And so that will fill. Let me start my real server. And all right, so it's running. Refresh. Log in. Let's see. So when we create a new volunteer opportunity, it's under, this has changed the last time I've used it. Well, there's new event. Actually, volunteer opportunities. I gotta go to organizations, select an organization, and then I can create a new volunteer opportunity. I believe it needs a title. See what happens here. There we go. And there's the show page. So that test is saying the show page is not working correctly, but there it is. Oh man, what happened? Yep, there's a failure again. That's interesting. So returns a success response, event. Oh, it's saying event.create. I did a volunteer opportunity. But it's saying when we create an event. Okay. So let's create an event. Admin, new event, testing. Start date must come after end date. About that 1 minute long event. There we go, undefined method source. Okay, so this code is also used for events, not just volunteer opportunities. That is why they need the try method. Cool. So we take a look at the event schema for events. Why? Man, this VS Code, why does it keep closing out files when I get more than 3? That is interesting. The schema. All right. Go to events. Yeah, so events doesn't have a source attribute. Should have.
It comes from volop, I think.
Huh. Let me take a look at the model on this. Okay, I'll. Okay, so explain that to me.
Sorry?
It's coming from VolOps.
If you go back from if you go back to the browser,
yeah,
you will see the error is saying that source equal volop first source.
Right.
And it kind of like that volop that first don't have a source method. I think we should spot that file. Which file is it again? I'm not seeing very on screen. It's gonna be, yeah.
Because we're just creating a new event. Maybe.
I think it should be volops that source instead of volops that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it works on the main page. If we change it to volops.source, that's going to throw an error too. I find it. So when we create a new event, though, let's. I think I might know what's going on. So let me put the code back to normal, create an event, and then now if we create an event, so when we create an event, it also displays the Google Maps window, but there's no volunteer opportunities to display. And so in that case, when we if we were to put in a bybug, what does volops look like? So volops, yeah, see, volops is now the event. It's actually an event. An event doesn't have a source. So that would return nil. So it's just saying the source is local.
This is very, very, very weird.
That is weird, eh? Why are we running an event through this?
Yeah, why we put it an event into a volop and call it? Yeah.
Unless it wants to display where the event is taking place, so it builds the map.
But in somehow event is related to a volop, so we don't need to. I'm
So
a bit
we
confused.
Yeah. So maybe, man, what is
I don't get it.
location? So there's the location, longitude, latitude. So volop dot first, volop dot last. So perhaps volop right here isn't the best name for that.
Yeah, what I was talking about.
Yeah,
should be location and event.
I mean, we could pass it. It seems like we could pass in volunteer opportunities, or we can pass in events, right?
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay. That's why he is testing to see if that volop has a method try, a method source, so we know that it's not an event. Is it right?
I wonder what happens when we run this. Say that again. I didn't quite catch it all.
You were saying that maybe that volop can take a volunteer opportunity or an event.
Yeah.
You can pass in both type of object. So I mean, maybe that's why we test here with this if statement.
Yeah.
To see if that method that object has the method source, so we know that it is
Yep.
a volunteer opportunity, or
Yep.
if it doesn't, we know that it is an event.
Yep. Yeah. So that's why.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's why they have that try in there. So we're just gonna, because we don't know what volops might be. It could be a volunteer opportunity, or it could be an event. So I guess that's why they have to try. If we were just dealing with volunteer opportunities,
yeah, can we just try to ask him for his class name maybe?
we can, but I don't. There's a good reason not to do that. But I mean, yeah, that is one potential thing we could do, but there's also a good reason not to do that. I think probably just renaming it would be a good first step, and then see where we can go from there.
Yeah.
See website. So I just wanted to. If we take a look at this, so I bet you, so events is kind of new for local support. I think, I don't know who added it. I think Seth did. We'll find out here in a second. So, did I not go to the right one? I just can't read. Website 1, app services. Oh, yeah, I'm in website 1. I need to be in local support. There we go. App services. And then build markers with info window. So if we do the blame on here. So yeah, so this was added about a year ago. Add event location markers. So yeah, so the whole thing is to add event location markers to event map. And that was done a year ago. So prior to that, they just had, just get the source. Volunteer op.get source, volops. So yeah, so that's what it looked like a year ago. And then when they added events to local support, they put in the try. But they didn't change, they didn't rename this didn't get renamed, which probably should, right? It's no longer just a vol-op. Now it could be like a vol-op or an event. So perhaps a more generic, not generic name, but more broader name could be used. But anyways,
Yep.
yeah, it's been about an hour, and we didn't get much done, but I think we kind of understand a little bit more how this works. So yeah, there's lots of things we can do to this to clean it up. Well, maybe not lots of things, but there's a few things that can be done.
Yes, sure.
So why do I have two methods in here? That's kind of weird. So we need this try if it's an event. We don't, it's just a volunteer op. One is what you suggested, is ask what type it is, and then assign it, and then assign the source appropriately. And if we do that, there we could also refactor that too, so that we use kind of like a state design pattern. But that might not, I mean, that, I don't know. We could get into that later, discuss the pros and cons of it. Or we could just extract this method out like we did last to it. We can rename this, we can clean this up. And then here we're just building the locations, building the info window, building the JSON. Yeah, I don't know. All right, I think it'll be good to like maybe try a couple different ways. Maybe try your way. Maybe do something else. See what we like the best, and then just go with that.
Maybe we can pass in a hash.
Pass in a hash
instead of volop.
Mm-hmm.
Be a hash, and we can check which type it is. If it is a, but the problem is this volop is almost everywhere, and don't know how is it called before.
Yeah, it gets initialized, it passes in that. I mean, it's just like it's just a collection, right? It could be a collection of volunteer ops, or it could be a collection of events.
Okay.
So, so it's basically a collection that we want to mark on the map. Whatever the collection is, we want to be able to mark the location on the map. So I mean, we can change, I don't know, we can easily change the name of this to I don't know. What do you think?
Strange.
Map stuff. I don't know.
underscore maybe.
But
I don't like the purpose of putting those two different type of object in the same collection, or I don't know how you call it.
mm-hmm.
As we are not limited on the number of parameters we can define in a method. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we trying to put in a collection two different type of objects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it was me, I would definitely have one for locations and another one for maybe for the other one, the events or the envelopes.
Yeah. So you're saying you would just add another parameter here, event. Do you want to show me? Are you logged in? Are you logged in on here?
Yeah, I was, I think. Yeah. Let me try. What I was thinking is,
Yeah.
to have here maybe location, and I don't know how to rename this thing.
Okay.
Because it could be even, yeah,
Okay.
can be even an event or something else.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you're saying,
Yeah,
and then we could just get rid of that.
yeah, of course.
I see.
It's not make sense. It does not make sense.
So some of the
instead of that, instead of having this thing, maybe we could have something like that and define it on the code as event or I don't know. Sorry.
So some of the refactoring methods that we've been learning is one of them is called replace temp with query. What that means, like this is a temporary variable location, right?
Yeah.
As soon as this method is done running, that variable is gone. And this could be thought of like the query. We're querying volop for the location, right? So what replace temp with query does is say, okay, let's get rid of this temp variable. So wherever location is, it's just in those two places. We'd actually just take the query and just stick it in there. And then we can get rid of that. This might be a little bit more confusing because volop.first, it's actually, yeah, volop.first is not really a query, I guess, because this is a collection. We're just saying, give us the first collection. It's latitude. And we could also go like this, right? Yeah, that's the same as first. But yeah.
But this was assigned to a variable first of all.
What's assigned
this
to a
was
variable?
assigned to a location variable.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You
So now I just took it off.
Yeah, okay.
Because all it is like the first element in volop has that and has that. And then the second element here, wherever we see volops, we just say volop 1, and we can get rid of this. This will still pass. Why do I keep ending up with 2 if else ends? All right. So yeah, this should still pass. I think I removed the byte bugs. I have a syntax error.
I'm feeling like all this. Can't we extract all these things? This marker section. Oh, sorry.
Something got screwed up here. You got marker.json volop 0 custom nav volop. But yeah, we can extract it. And that's probably what we'll do. Well, I don't, but what happened? This does not make any sense anymore.
Yeah, I feel like something moved.
Yeah, it's all right. I can just check it out. But let me do that.
Maybe it's
all fixed. What is it? What's going on? Right? Did you do this, or did I do that?
this. Oh, it's like duplicated.
Yeah. Did you do that?
No.
Let me get rid of it. This is weird.
Oh, I think it is the VS Live.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm having some latency.
Maybe, yeah.
My internet is not very.
Maybe. I tend to like to use C9 instead.
Yeah, but they're closing, right?
Not that I know of. Are they?
I think C9 could be changed.
I mean, Amazon runs it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still there. It's just ran by Amazon now. Yeah, let's continue this next week, and in the meantime, we can both think about. We can definitely do like the extract method. I'm not, and yeah, we can discuss. We'll figure out a good way to refactor this, and discuss the pros and cons of adding a parameter, not adding a parameter, next week.
Okay.
Cool, man. Hey, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. Have a good.
See you next week.
Yeah. See you later.